Christian Toto from the Hollywood and Toto podcast, and you're listening to the All Over the Place podcast, where the fun sanity never ends.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to All Over the Place, the official podcast of Media Pub Live. I'm your host, Eric Pervoznik, and once again, folks, we cannot thank you enough for getting the more subscriptions up, and we're continuing to grow. So don't forget, we appreciate all the likes, all the shares, all the subscriptions, and never forget, share the podcast with at least two friends. We're going to double it this week. Share it with two friends. We greatly appreciate everything. We thank you here at All Over the Place. And I know one person who thanks you as well as part of the All Over the Place team is Jim Culver.
Indeed, I do. Hello. Thank you. Good to be here again.
Hey, well, we have another amazing guest tonight, someone that I met in the podcasting communities on social media. And this guy is just an amazing podcaster, speaker, editor, he's all over the place. He couldn't have found a better show to come on. And we have with us today from the Autism Rocks and Rolls podcast, Autism Rocks and Rolls Corporation. Welcome, Sam Mitchell. Thanks for joining us on All Over the Place, Sam.
Hey, good to be here. Thanks for having me, guys. Good to be here.
Hey, our pleasure. Thanks for joining us. I love you. You're kicking it totally casual tonight. It's how we rock and roll on All Over the Place. So perfect. Now, Sam, it's my understanding that you picked up your interest in podcasting when you were in high school. And just what was it about podcasting that grabbed you, made you want to do it?
The fact that it could be held all over the world. You don't hear it just in the United States. You hear it all over the place.
He's plugging us without even meaning to plug us, folks. It's beautiful. And your mission is to just, with autism, just helping people realize it's not a stigma. And how do you go about that? What's your battle plan for that?
The mission of Autism Rocks and Rolls is to take the stigma off of autism and other conditions that have many disabilities. People on the spectrum are not broken, do not need to be fixed. Those who have conditions or abilities want to be pitied. There's nothing to be sorry about.
Amen to that. Absolutely. And you deal with, I want to talk about all over the place. You deal with so many topics, whether it's humor, budgeting, bereavement, bullying. How do you decide what you're going to talk about on a particular show?
So sometimes I interview big people. I guess I could spoil this because it's confirmed. I will be having possibly and highly likely, and most certainly, Jake the Snake Roberts on my show. That is my next episode.
What?
Jim's face just got real big.
Dude, I am envious for sure.
And we're
awesome.
We're going to let our friend Nick Cersei know. Nick is a big wrestling fan, so that is very cool. How did you secure Jake the Snake?
Well, I just asked. I had a script, and he has 2 grandchildren with autism and CP. Loves the story. Wants to come on.
It's as simple as that, folks. And people ask me, when you're bringing guests on, how do you do it? Ask. And as we learned in some Bible verse, ye shall receive. So, yeah, that is so cool. Now, I know you've got a great list of guests who come on and just tailor to whatever topic you're talking about. And just how do you, because you air your shows, you drop your shows, about every other week, twice a month? What's your schedule like with that?
Twice a month, every 13 days.
So twice a month. Okay. So how do you determine whether you're going to be talking about one of those many topics I brought up, or if you're going to go with a guest?
I really pick my choices and I just go for it. And then sometimes I will go for an A behavior. It just depends on what it feels like, what is the right time, what is the right moment. What I don't like to do is 5 interviews in a row, because in my opinion, after hearing 5 interviews, that gets boring / bland.
Got to mix it up. Exactly. Jim, I think you would agree that, interview 3 for interview. Yeah, just keep it fresh. I love that.
Yeah, I think you get into a nice rhythm doing something like that and keeps it interesting.
And as I mentioned, wrestling does pop up in your podcast quite a bit, the episodes I've listened to. And what made you a wrestling fan?
The structure of it, the fact that it's an art, and I literally thought at a time span as a child, like every child probably thought, they were literally beating the crap out of each other. Now I see they don't, clearly. But in my also view, even if it wasn't, it was more of maneuvers instead of just punching and kicking. I mean, in MFC, UFC, all you're doing is punching and kicking. In boxing, all you're doing is punching. With wrestling, despite it being scripted and show, there's still moves. There's punches, there's kicks, but there's also aerial moves. There's submissions, stuff you get in UFC, but not all in one.
I'm blown away. You're gonna have Jake the Snake Roberts on, some guy that I was taking me back to my high school days. So, and who are some of the other people that you come across to choose them as guests? Do they come to you? Do you seek them out?
Some of them have been a little behind the scenes, so I guess I can list some other guests. I've had Mick Foley on, Al Snow, RVD, Buff Bagwell, Victoria, Kane. Also, Megan's Got Talent contestants. I've had Mandy Harvey. I've also had a Britain's Got Talent contestant on, David Covey. And then, let's see, then I just had inspiring people. I've had Amber Lee Snyder on. She survived a car crash, paralyzed from the waist down, but is winning races and barrel racing.
Awesome.
I love hearing stuff like that. And another thing that I noticed with your show, and well, first off, your advertisers and your sponsors is just an amazing list. Once again, did they come to you, or do you seek them out from a local standpoint? What's your strategy with getting people involved with your show?
Most come to me, but there are some times where we're able to find some. What I do is I usually do speed networking events to find them, or what I did a while back ago, I need to do it again sometime, maybe if I ever get time for it, was I'm close to my near two towns, the biggest two towns that are close to me. I took what I call a sponsorship field trip day, which basically means I go to every business that's not a franchise. I'm not going to go to Kroger's and ask for sponsorship, but I might go to our local bakery and just tell them, hey, I'm Sam Mitchell, Autism Rocks and Rolls podcast host. How do you feel about sponsoring me?
Once again, folks, it's as simple as that. Ask and receive.
What kind of response do you get? Is it mostly positive? I would say
it's mostly positive, but there's been mostly they were nice and shooed me off. And it's most of the time they wanted to help, but just wasn't affordable.
Right.
But a couple times I got yeses.
I think it's more than a couple of times. You've got like I said, you've got an impressive roster of people coming on to sponsor you, and one of those sponsors is through your father. Tell us about that, involving him in the Harley Davidson stuff.
Oh, my father was just the voiceover on that one.
Oh, he's just he's not a Harley guy. Okay.
Oh no, he is a Harley guy. Trust me, he's a Harley guy. He grew up on motorcycles, so yes, big time Harley guy. That's why I asked him to do it. That's exactly why I asked him to be the voiceover.
And so, any other members of your family involved with the production?
No, just me. So we also have a nonprofit with a board of 8, and my mother's the president.
Okay, keeping family involved. That's awesome. And actually, speaking of family, I got one of my very good friends here. His grandson is on the spectrum. As a teenager with autism, I really want to expand my reach with my new gamer YouTube channel, but I don't want to open myself up to criticism from people who don't get what I'm trying to do. Do you recommend any forums or ways to partner with groups to get the word out to like-minded people?
I would say, sure. You could try doing some partnering and see if you can do it. But I also try to step outside your comfort zone and explain what you are trying to do.
Okay.
Sometimes the best advertisement is word of mouth.
Absolutely. And, and look, criticism, we're always going to get it. And sometimes it's harder than others getting that, but be your own person. Do what you're going to do.
Exactly.
And when you were starting the Autism Rocks and Rolls podcast and Autism Rocks and Rolls Corporation, what were some of the stumbling blocks that you came across?
Well, the stumbling block was setting up. I'm no audio engineer, once you get me in front of the computer and set it up for me with the Rodecaster and the editing, I'm great. But I am no audio engineer. Good luck trying to ask me how to set up a Rodecaster. I'm going to tell you straight up, I have no idea, buddy. That's for the guy next door.
Well, as certain people on this show will attest to, I'm far from an audio engineer myself. So yeah, and that just comes down to pressing a record button. So I'm with you. But on the flip side of that, what have been some of your favorite positive experiences as you've grown the corporation?
Meeting the great people I met. It's a community, whereas before I felt like I never had a community on my butt. It was always I would feel like I've heard boos my whole entire life. I'm getting used to hearing some cheers now. However, sadly, I'm still used to the boos. Unfortunately, I just need to shift that mindset. I realize that. But it's just the incredible people that I met, and it's worldwide. My knowledge of my connections are expanding. It's not just in Indiana. It's you two who are God knows where.
Right. So we got a kick out of the fact we have some listeners in Russia. Well, what's been a place where you've landed a listener that kind of made you smile a little bit more than the others?
Russia's one of them. I just learned that the other day. And then I have one in Spain. And then I had one out of all the places, Germany.
So I noticed that you've got some events coming up. And one of them, I believe, is in association with someone in West Virginia. Tell us about that.
Yes. So in 2024 November, I think the 3rd, I will be keynote speaking at Daniels, West Virginia at a behavioral health conference for parents and caregivers who are associated with those on the autism spectrum.
Nice. And let's see. Any other events you've got coming up? In addition to West Virginia?
I have some online ones coming up, and then I had one recently, a motorcycle poker run. We had 31 bikers total. They had a nice ride with the scenic route, and they had a nice piping hot meal waiting for them.
Brings us back to Harleys. You can't go wrong with a good hog, especially in the Midwest.
No, you really can't.
Any guests coming up on your show you want to talk about?
Well, I mean, Jake the Snake's one. I mean,
yep.
God, that guy's been through so much, man. Not only does he have 2 grandchildren, but I think he's got a story too. He's a drug and abuse. He's survived drug and alcohol abuse. He has COPD, and it's awful. But his dad beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, I believe the movie The Wrestler was partially based on his life or inspired by his life. And of course, there's Beyond the Mat, which is an amazing documentary that he figures greatly into. And yeah, if you anybody who's seen that can see what a struggle his life's been.
Yeah, and to top it all off, he got sexually assaulted.
He's been through an awful lot, and yeah, to come through it and still be willing to share his struggles and be an inspiration. Yeah, he's a heck of a guy for sure.
Yeah, I'm proud of the guy. He got out of the trenches. I'm very admiring of that man.
Absolutely.
And being a keynote speaker, again, very cool. Congratulations on that. We wish you many good minutes up there on stage being the keynote speaker. And any other words of inspiration that you would give to upcoming podcasters or just anything in general that anyone with autism wants to set their mind to?
Well, I mean, it's not really words of wisdom. I think it's just the truth. If the world could be nice and not act so stupid, don't you think we get along so much better?
Can't argue with that.
Amen. Exactly. Can't argue with that methodology.
The internet seems to be making it harder these days, but we all do our part. We do what we can.
I figured you guys would.
But I figure the internet is obviously it can. There's the negatives, but I think there's a lot more positives. I mean, without the internet, I don't get to meet you. I don't get to meet a lot of other podcasters who, true to our mission statement here on All Over the Place, I don't care about our differences. I care about the things that bring us together. What makes us? What entertains us? What makes each other smile? What makes each other have a good day? And we don't have that without the internet.
It's true. Very true.
Well, Sam Mitchell, host of Autism Rocks and Rolls podcast. Be sure you check him out, folks, over at autismrocksandrolls.com. And Sam, any parting words here for our all over the place audience?
Thank you guys again for letting me come on. It's been a great time. Had definitely fun. Think I'm going to go eat some dinner soon. But take care, and just like I've said earlier, just be nice and don't be stupid, but also really enjoy your life. Take some time for each other. It's needed.
That's right.
And I suppose as well, happy trails till we meet again.
There you go. I think we do have we'll do another playlist of that one. Play some Roy Rogers and Van Halen's version of that one. But as Sam says on his website, folks, autism, he's here to show people he's not broken, doesn't need to be fixed. There is no normal. Be true to yourself. Thank you again, Sam Mitchell, for joining us on All Over the Place.
All Over the Place, where the fun sanity never ends.